Hi and welcome to an unboxing and first impressions video of the Lenovo Legion 5 Generation 6 15-inch gaming laptop. This is the AMD model with the Ryzen 7 5800H octa-core processor. It also has 8GB of RAM and a 512GB SSD. I got this from PC World, and the marketing material doesn't specify what type and speed of RAM it is or whether the hard disk is an M.2 drive or not. Once I got the laptop, it was still somewhat tricky to narrow down the model and information regarding the specific build, as there's so many variants and versions which appear readily online when trying to search for it. Even Lenovo's product specifications reference site doesn't seem to have it in its list of variants, but using the model number and part number led me right to the right spec sheet. I'll include a link in the description and talk about it later in the video. The package came in a slender box with nothing but a thin plastic cover over it. A bit more protection would have been nice. The box has the Legion logo type in large bold letters covering one entire side and the top, which also has a small carry handle. Within the box, the laptop is nestled between foam protectors and a polyester covering. I'm sure that would have provided for adequate protection from bumps and drops along the way, but still would have preferred the entire box packaged on the outside with a more protective enclosure. Alongside the laptop is a cardboard wraparound containing a 3-pin kettle lead, 300-watt power brick, some Legion stickers which were bent and crumpled, safety information leaflet, and a quick start guide which also has a handy little diagram and table showing all the ports and capabilities. Also included is a leaflet on information for Lenovo's Premium Care helpline. Now moving on to the actual device, I have to say I was somewhat taken back by how sleek the laptop is. It isn't evident from marketing materials or images online. On the back of the screen there's a Lenovo tag on the upper left hand corner and Legion etched onto the lower right hand corner. The screen is a full HD 120Hz IPS display with 250 nits brightness. Bezels are relatively thinner on the sides with an extruded section where the webcam is, along with stereo microphones. This is actually handy for opening up the screen when it's closed. The hinge is unorthodox as it doesn't sit flush with the edge of the body. This creates a little shelf area in the back. There is a tiny bit of tension and flexing when opening the lid, and it's definitely a two-handed job. The screen can be opened 180 degrees, but the little ledge can potentially act as a lever and cause stress or damage to either the screen or hinge if pressure is applied. On the left hand side we have a combo audio jack and one USB Type-C connector. On the right we have one USB 3.2 connector and a camera disconnect switch. One thing lacking is an SD card reader, which the 17-inch model has. On the back there's the power connector, one USB 3.2 connector that's always on, an HDMI connector, two USB 3.2 connectors, one USB Type-C connector which is USB PD 3.0 compliant, which should deliver up to 100 watts of power for the device, but doubt that would be enough to charge the machine, let alone be sufficient for powering the processor or graphics with intensive usage, and one Ethernet port. The Legion 5 features a full-size keyboard with slightly curved keycaps that features a low activation travel. The top row features a full set of function keys which do double duty as media and other setting switches. There's also the typical navigation and delete feature buttons on the right hand side on the same row. Right below that you'll find a full numpad section, however the keycaps are slightly smaller than the rest. The arrow keys are atypically positioned below the bottom row of keys, which I assume is a gamer focused aesthetic. The trackpad is a sleek single-faced doubling as a touch and mechanical switch which provides good tactile feedback. Now, it was somewhat tricky to open up the case as the sides dip down to the vents, which don't seem to have a clear bevel. But with a bit of prying, some coaxing, finally managed to get it open. There's a matrix of cutouts which overlay the cooling vents, which provide cooling for the CPU and the GTX 3060. And a nice little motif saying Legion Engine Power On the inside of the cover. Now, this model comes with a 60 Wh 4-cell battery which leaves enough room for a 2.5-inch SSD drive on the left. But there doesn't seem to be any connectors, which older variants would have had. On top of the empty bay is a connector for an M.2 drive. Potentially only one type could be used at a time. Given the sparse product descriptions available online and info gathered from other YouTubers on other variants of the Lenovo Legion 5, you could be forgiven to assume that the smaller 4-cell battery would not only leave space for a 2.5-inch drive but also have the required connector on the motherboard. So in this case, this laptop could have been given a boost in value for the buyer with the larger 6-cell 80 Wh battery, should Lenovo have chosen to do so. The product specification reference on the Lenovo site indicates that this variant comes with the 512GB M.2 Type 2242 drive, and additionally that this device only supports Type 2242 and Type 2280 drives. I couldn't open the heat shield for the M.2 that came with the laptop to see what type it is, but found out from the memory manager in Windows that it's a Western digital drive. I'll show the model number on screen as it's a bit too long. Looking it up online, I could only find a model with a similar product code with just one letter off. I assume the one I got is an OEM version, but that product is a 2280 M.2 drive. So either the second M.2 slot can only handle a smaller 2242 drive, or a 2242 or a 2280 can be used in either port. Hopefully. Not sure why the spec sheet says that the laptop comes with a 2242 M.2 drive to begin with though. The system also features a Dynamic 3D audio processing sound system with dual 2-watt Harman Kardon speakers. Overall, this is quite a good laptop for the average gamer, as the hardware and price seems to be hard to beat. As for me, I'll be using this for content creation, programming, and some game dev and asset creation, so definitely will want more RAM and hard disk space. Hence the reason I haven't used it yet and haven't been able to do a proper review on it. Maybe buying the variant with more RAM and hard disk space at 300 to 400 euro more might have been worthwhile to save the unnecessary hassle and research needed to see if and how this could be upgraded. This is particularly true as there are a handful of variants of the Legion 5 based on year of release with varying internals and capacities. Well, that about does it for this video. I hope you found it useful. Please consider liking and sharing the video and subscribing to my channel to help me grow. Thank you and goodbye.